because it's safer, for one. And what you run the risk of when you do that, it's, let me show you guys an example. I hadn't planned to do this, but this is a good discussion to have with you. So let's say this is our cone of vision. I might want to do something like this. Say, draw a building like that. Because I'm out of the cone of vision up here, but hey, it looks kind of cool, and maybe that's Lex Luthor's skyscraper, and, you know what I mean? Hey, or it's the Bat something that is up there, and it's a Gotham City building, and I want it to look scary. Okay, so that's a good reason to do it. But you have to be kind of careful about it, because it's easy for people to just look at that and go, oh, he screwed it up. You see what I mean? So see what you can do, you know. But always, always, always know where the cone of vision is. Okay. All right. Now, let me show you guys one more thing on this. And I would imagine that right now a lot of you guys are feeling a little nervous about this. You know? That's why I want you to start before Wednesday and bring in the basic structure, because I want to see, like I said, you'll make any mistakes you're going to make in the first hour. All right? If you can get through the first hour of doing this, you'll be in good shape. Yeah?
Can we start by using like a really big object?
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. You can, what I was going to suggest, the next thing I was going to say is this. So let's say I get this working. Actually, you guys, I'm going to put one more sheet over this. So let's say I got it working to the point where, okay, ignore this thing that I drew out here and focus on the original frame here, okay? And let's say I move the VPs way out there like this. What I would do is this. Okay, let's assume that's my thing, and oh, and I have to make the change. My new VP is going to be out here. So it's going to look something like that. All right. Now, the next thing you would want to do is you would want to set up measuring points and a measuring line, and then basically build out one cube here at that location using your measuring points and measuring lines. Now, once you have done that, then you're kind of, if you've done that and you've done it correctly, then you're just moving things around, and it's a matter of using reference points and things like that. It's really not too bad. Okay? I think what I'm going to be probably doing on Wednesday is doing a refresher of this, because I suspect that people will try it and kind of crash and burn in different ways. Yeah?
If we have things cut out of our cubes, can we use the methods we use for the cube-like objects?
What was that? One more time?
The methods we use for the cube-like objects, can we use those for things that are cut out?
That's where we're going with this, ultimately, is at first, I just want you guys to build out a bunch of cubes. Don't try and make them as cube-like or as rectangular, box-like as possible, because once you have that mechanical drawing, then we can do an overlay and do all these fancier objects that will add a lot of interest to your piece. But for right now, what I'm concerned about for this next part of the project is you have to get all of these parameters, the vanishing points, the center of vision, the station point. You've got to have all of that make sense. Now, as you do that, as you make this make sense, it's going to force you to change your sketches to make things a little more agreeable. Now, one other thing I want to say, just because in this case, Raphael's doing a sketch like this, in general, I would recommend that all of you guys try to make sure you know where everything is on the ground plane, even foreground elements. Okay, so if you have a foreground element, it may be wildly distorted, wildly out of the cone of vision. Don't worry about that. The geometry still works. Just know where it touches the ground plane relative to your other objects. Yes?
Would it make sense to shrink things and then scan it and then?
That was one of the key points I was going to make. The whole point of doing your mechanical stuff at this scale is you want to keep your points on the page as much as possible. One of the things I'll show you on Wednesday is what to do when that doesn't happen, when your points go way off. Like, how do you find a measuring point when your vanishing point is in the arc quad? I'll show you, and there's tricks you can use that are really great and really helpful. But try to keep these things very small so that it's as manageable as possible. Now, once you get all your mechanical stuff drawn and it's pretty correct, then we're going to be taking this and scaling it up to the proper size of the piece and doing a tracing over it. But you want to do your mechanics at this scale, at the smaller scale. Now, one other thing I want to say about this is you'll notice, I was just saying I want you guys to know where your ground plane is. In this first thing that I did, what Raphael may want to do is he may want to imagine a plane, like a plane parallel to the ground plane, say at the height of this box here, because then he could just say, okay, all this stuff is going above that line, all this stuff is going below that line, and the ground is this far below that line. Because most of his stuff is kind of up in the air, rather than have to project everything up from say way down here, it would make more sense to kind of build it in a plane up in this area where it's accessible. Miles, someone else had a question. Who was it? Yeah.
Oh, so did you want the framing to be the same size as what we're doing right now, or?
I would suggest you keep it close to this scale. Now, you may end up deciding that, oh, I want to make it smaller even because I have to change my mechanics so much. You guys, actually, here's the main thing I want you to get out of this demo. You're in control, not the perspective. Okay? Notice when I was making these little rapid-fire decisions, I was deciding, oh, do I want to put my vanishing point out there? Oh, do I want to put that one further out, or do I want to bring this one in? Or do I want to put my station point here? Do I want to put my cone of vision here? See, I'm making the decisions based upon what I feel is important to the sketch. You're the artist. Okay, don't give up control of this to whatever happens to happen, because that's how you get really crappy pictures. Make the picture you want and find the perspective that makes it true. Okay? I can't emphasize that enough. It's really something that is hard for students often to get over, that the perspective is not in control. So try to make sure that you take control of that picture. And again, you guys, you're going to struggle. That's why it's your homework assignment. Anybody have any questions? Yeah. For Wednesday, oh, there's no way in hell you're going to have the exact mechanical on Wednesday. There's no way in hell. Okay? I'd like you to invest at least a couple hours into it. Oh, and the reason why is I want you to hit the problems. Think of it this way. The whole mechanical is like building a brick wall. If you can build 20 bricks, 20,000 is no harder. It just takes more time. But it's no harder intellectually. If you can lay 20 bricks correctly, you get it. Okay? I want you to lay those first 20 bricks so we know that you know what you're doing. And because some of you guys, many of you guys, are going to struggle laying those first 20 bricks. And when you do, I want you to be able to come in Wednesday and ask the right questions so you don't have that trouble over the spring break. Okay? Make sense? All right. Now, you guys, we're a little pressed for time, but I'm gonna try and do this efficiently.